Yo, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good morning, good night to whoever's watching this. Like I said yesterday, weekly update. Like, look at this before I even go anywhere. Remember the GJ Mark Up, the trade from Friday? People within the range tested, instant rejection, then came back and drawdown. Didn't hit stop loss, and it flew. I secured at 39 pips, and look where price is at right now. It's like at 100 and something pips. If I would have just held most of my position, but damn, bro. I mean, it's all emotions, literally. If I would have just set and forget, shout out Alex G, I would have been up a lot of profit, 100 pips. Right, I'm still in the trade, 0.01. Obviously, because I think this is leverage 1 to 100. It's not 1 to 500. It's not $10. If not, it would be $10. I mean, look at the entry. 192.364. 192. Oh wait, my entry's live. 192.3. Yep, it's off by a couple pips. So I might have actually not even gotten the 192.36, 192.364, 192.364. That's my entry. Okay, so I still did make like 38 pips. I mean, it was either 35 pips either way. I was not gonna call it 40 pips. I was gonna call it 35 pips. But if I close now, it's 100 pips. But honestly, I'm gonna continue to hold because I definitely still see this chunk hitting. There's still another chunk of profit. Plus, I already secured the profit on that trade, so I'm still holding. So it's still not 100 pips. This trade is still could be 38 pips of win or TP hits, right? So that's still for the same bias for GJ. I'm still holding, right? Like I said, as I'm gonna see it as soon as the market opens. Like I said before, remember this 15-minute impulse within the range that I was talking about? Look at this. Strong demand, strong supply, strong supply, strong demand. Price tested it, broke back above, and it gave us a bias perfectly. Look at that. It was at 2:30. This is around, I got out of work around 1:45-ish. And obviously at 2, from 2 to 3 my time, it's spread hour. And I got home and fed my chickens and did all of my things that I had to do. Did my workout. I didn't record today's workout because I didn't record it. And I missed out on getting into these longs. But I mean, I'm still in the trade, but yes, I did miss out on getting another buy position right here. So I would have been already up 77 pips on this position extra, right? But whatever, we're fine. We're still holding this trade. Let's go over the weekly markup. Like I said, we're gonna go over UJ, USD CAD, and GU. And this one I did in the morning before I even went to work. I woke up early today, 3:26. I woke up early because I went to sleep early yesterday. So pause it, read it. Pause it, read it. Let's go into USD JPY. This one right here. Weekly outlook. I said it was bearish on the monthly. Why? Because if we zoom in a little bit, you see price tested 160. And what did it do? Instant rejection, right? Test came down to sorry, I'm burping because I'm drinking sparkling water. Way better than soda, right? If you want to lose weight or anything, and you don't even have to cut off your sweets or fruit or anything, right? You just stop drinking soda. That's a big one. And obviously you could cut off all of the excess sugar and everything, cookies and all that bullshit. Yes, too, right? Mainly fruits only and no soda. Avoid all that shit, right? Don't put sugar in your coffee, none of that. And you're fine. You're gonna be able to have some of these. I don't know if you could tell. Whatever. I don't mean to flex, but that's the key, right? And how you do one thing is how you do everything. I used to hate that saying, but it's literally so fucking true. You have to be disciplined everywhere else. And if you work out every day, if you wash a dish as soon as you get it dirty every day, you wash your clothes, if you make your bed every day, if you wake up early and you get to your job early every single day, like all of these things add up, man, to the discipline level. And every single time your discipline level is going up and up and up and up, like a chart. And like you want also small. You want something like this right here. You don't want no big spikes, because obviously with big spikes you got big drops. You want to slow and steady window raise up and up and up. All right, back to the markup. So obviously price tested 160, which is the ultimate high right now, which if you look back in time, it's actually previous supply. Strong previous supply, strong previous supply. Now so man, he's going to the, actually on the monthly I didn't finish. Talking about the markup, price tested 14900 and flew all the way back up to 158,500. It's important because when you hop into the weekly, you see on the weekly it's a previous strong area of supply. Why is it a strong area of supply? Because it gave us a huge ass drop from this zone. Look at this. It gave us a drop of 1,600 pips, bro. So what did price do? As soon as price tested it again, it gave us another strong ass freaking drop, confirming the area of strong supply. So price, like, there's still sellers here in the market, right? So if you just were to look at it like this, don't even look at the time frame right now. Obviously that's 200 pips, but if you just look at the time frame, look at that. That's a beautiful trade. Higher time frame wise, right? But overall time frame, like let's say you're here, you know that price is overall bearish and this is a target because of this strong supply. Obviously now, modern time, we're back above. Obviously if you look at this area, which is 149, you look, it's a strong supply that gave us 900 pips to the downside. Price broke above and turned it into demand. And what did it do? It gave us 700 pips to the upside. What did price do? Came back, tested it again, confirming previous demand as new demand again, and gave us even more, which is what gave us to the push, which is what took us to the push to 158,500. Obviously price melted back into the zone. It failed to show any strength here, obviously, right? And all we're gonna zoom into right now to this zone. The market is a fractal, dude. If you know what fractals are, you know what fractal geometry is. Whatever happens on the higher time frames will happen in the lower time frames, and and so on and so forth. You just gotta continue to be zooming in. This is why it's important you start off from the 3 month, the month, the weekly. You don't have to start from the 3 month. I just like to start from the 3 month. You have to start from the monthly, the weekly, the daily, and all the way into the 15 minute, which is your entry. Your 15 minute, your 5 minute, which is your entry time frame. When I was going to the daily, like I said, we're gonna look at this, because this zone, if price would have broken back above here, let me look at it into detail so you guys can see better. If price would have broken back above this zone, it would have confirmed this previous area of strong supply, strong demand, and this would have been strong demand right here. So it would have been looked exactly like this. Price broke above, and this would have even looked kind of like a head and shoulders pattern, inverted head and shoulders, which would have been here, the shoulder, the head, and then the shoulder here. But obviously that this did not happen. This is why you have to wait for your things to happen before, right? You have to wait for your bullish engulfing candles. You have to wait for your breakthrough structure. You have to wait for your higher lows to be created, and vice versa for sells. So now let's zoom into the daily. Obviously on the daily, you zoom out a little bit and you can see we're still above this area of strong supply, which if we're above buy, so we're below sells. But now the first target that I'm looking for at least is 151. This is UJ again, by the way, and it's correlating with GJ. Obviously with GJ we're bullish, and we look at USDJPY, now we're flipped bullish on the daily. Daily bearish turning bullish, and on the H4 H1 we're bullish. You can see bullish engulfing candle over our higher lows, faded to break below this area zone, which is how it's also previous supply. Look at that, and previous demand. If you just trade off supply and demand zones, bro, you're gonna be good. Literally strong areas of supply and demand zone like this one, look, like this strong areas, like, well, I just talked about it, right? It literally gave us 900 pips to the downside, to the upside, my bad. And then this supply gave us 1,000 pips to the downside. Like if you would have literally gotten into a trade somewhere here, you would have still been holding. And these are the trades that I'm trying to hold. For example, look, we're already up on GJ. If I could literally just keep on holding this damn buy, so now the trade is set. I already caught my 39 pips like I mentioned earlier, right? So as soon as price gets to any of these zones, you have to know that price is gonna give us a big push. So now I'm just waiting for price to continue to fly to this zone right here, which is 151. And actually, let me set an alarm. So I know that price is at a strong zone. So now what is the price gonna do? I cannot predict, right? So I have to wait for price to get here for us to react. But what I could predict, it's either sell or buy. So price is either gonna come test it, maybe show a little bit of momentum, fake out people, stop out people, you know what it usually does, or break above, you know, fake out people, stop out people, and then boom, give that push. Sometimes this happens and it's annoying because it fakes you out like in a sell, and then boom, it stops you out and continues to your original buy. But that's price, right? But you still know that because you still know that a big trade is that a big push or a big trade is gonna happen around that zone because of the previous history, right? This only gave us 300 pips to the upside, and it only gave us 400 pips to the upside. So we know to not expect more than. So I already know that my first target is gonna be this, 300 pips. My first target is gonna be probably even for sales. Actually, for sales, I wouldn't even sell till price breaks below even this. For buys, yes, for buys is cool because obviously for buys, as long above 149, the higher time frame supply and demand zone is what matters. But this is a smaller time frame supply and demand zone, which is the daily, right? And as like I said, the market is fractal. You start zooming in from the higher time frames to the smaller time frames to see the overall trend of the market. So now we're going to the 4 hour. And obviously the market is bullish, like I mentioned earlier. And now this supply, this is a 4 hour supply. You see, like I'm saying, the market is fractal. There's supplies on the 4 hour, there's supplies on the weekly, there's supplies on the, but obviously on the weekly and the monthly, they're way stronger than on the 4 hour and the 1 hour. You can see this supply gave us a push, obviously at 300 pips. That's still a lot of profit. But the retracement after the test gave us 160. It only gave us half. What did this confirm? It confirmed, one, that we're bullish, and it confirmed, two, that there's no strength of the supply. Shout out holds, by the way, because after you test the zone, what does it do? It weakens it, because the more you test the zone, the weaker it gets. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that. The more you test the zone, for example, let's look at an example here. Right, you tested this zone once, twice, 3 times. Started looking like a support now. 4 times, and then boom, we ran through it. All these people that thought it was a support and price was gonna continue bullish, they got stopped out. Why? Because obviously they didn't see the higher time frames. They didn't go into the monthly, they didn't go into the weekly, they didn't go into the daily, and see that price was already bearish since 158.500 after the test of the weekly supply. So this would have been a non-valid buy. Why are you buying when we're overall selling? So obviously, don't look for sells when we're overall bullish. Don't look for buys when we're overall bearish. But obviously, price broke this structure and continued to create what? Lower highs and continue to mount into the market. So this is why it's very important you do your my bad. This is why it's very important you do your higher time frame analysis from top down, not from the bottom up. I'm waiting, like I said, I'm waiting for price to hit 151. We could probably even get us, no, actually not, because it's going to be a really small buy. I was going to say, we could probably wait for a price break above this supply and give us a small buy. Something like this. Maybe if you're really eager to get in a trade. But I'd rather wait. I mean, that's 80 pips, right? You could really get, possibly, I mean, you could do sell to 149 and maybe create 200 pips, catch 200 pips, or the bullish buys, which I'm actually eager for. If price does bullish and go above 151 and give us a nice higher low, something like this, I'm looking for this move right here. TP1 is this push, is this high right here. This is the first target at 360 pips. That's looking like a great trade to me, but we had to wait. What was the next one? It was USD CAD, and this one I did it at work. I should have actually recorded the video at work because the market wasn't open yet. But if I would record at work, I would have showed you guys. Oh shit! If it wasn't open yet, I would have showed you guys GJ. Right? Look, it's still going up. Holy shit, man! All right, but USD CAD weekly outlook. You can pause it and read it. The monthly we're bullish turning bearish. Let's go into USD CAD real quick. USD CAD. There we go. So like I said, let's go into the monthly. Let me delete the ad real quick. It's pretty annoying. So right away, what are we doing? We're overall bullish. Obviously, we're breaking highs. Overall, we're breaking highs. Even a little bit could tell you, right? But we stopped at 146,800. 146,800 is obviously a previous strong. Ooh, look, it even gave us a strong push over here down to the downside, all the way back in 2003 of May, in May 2003. That's all the history we have. I mean, we do have still sells below back in 86, and we do have buys above in the 2000s. And then look at this strong supply over here too at 160. All right, but right now we're looking at 146,800 because that's where price is at right now, right? You want to see where price is at right now. Previous strong supply gave us this strong push to the downside that gave us 2,000 pips. The second time price came back to 146,800 and tested it. I was able. Oh, it was in 2020. Actually, it was a 2020 crash. That's crazy. So even just off, even if you didn't know COVID was going on, because this is a USD CAD. Obviously, the dollar went down in 2020. If you didn't know that we were in COVID, you could have still gotten shorts and knew that the market was going to sell it just based off this area of supply, right? Tested again as area of supply, or we would have been bullish. The price would have bullish engulfed above and created a higher low and continue. First target would have been 160, right? But obviously the market reversed. COVID happened, whatever happened, all that freaking pandemic happened. 2020, all of this was 2020, 21, and then Biden came in or whatever. When did Biden come in? That came in 2020, no? No, I think, because he did come in 2020. What am I saying? 2021, 2020, then the dollar came back up, all of Biden. And now Trump came in, and now the market's coming down, and the dollar is going down against the Canadian dollar. Crazy. But, I mean, the president is not going to save you. The president is going to make money, right? You're going to have to make money on these markets. You're the one pressing the buy and the sell at the end of the day, right? So price again respected 146,800, and right now again it's failing to break. But what I believe is higher time frame wise, we might come and retest this, which is 141,500. This area, previous area of supply, turn demand again. We might come and retest it, maybe something like this, break below, like I said, fake out and continue. It always does these little fake outs before actually going out. For some reason, I noticed that. And then it continues. Or it could definitely do this. Break back below and continue south. And we will be again in a freaking bearish market. Higher time frame wise. But right now it's still bullish turning bearish, I believe. Yeah, bullish turning bearish. Now let's hop into the weekly real quick. The weekly, I believe we're as well bullish turning bearish. Obviously, all of this is bullish. We did break right here below and bullish, bearish engulf. I'm sorry, but we did bullish engulf back above. But we also failed to break above 145, which now you see on the daily. You're gonna see there's an area of supply. And they gave us a strong push to the downside. That once they got tested, it gave us a strong respect. It respected it. But we're also respecting this demand right here, and we're kind of bouncing off supply to demand from supply to demand. We kind of forming a daily range. Did I talk about that? Oh yeah, I did talk about it. So now let's hop into the 4 hour real quick. The 4 hour is bearish. No, it's bullish. What am I saying? I take that back. Why is it bullish? Like I said, because we're overall above 142,800. First target would be 145. Well, actually, no, first target would be this. If you were to get in buys, but I do not see buys. Honestly, I wouldn't even see buys till price comes back down, clears all of these people out. Something like this. And then you might be looking for a buys. Now that we did clear everything. But then this could also happen. We could break below, bearish engulf, and continue to the downside. This is why it's very important to wait. And you see all of these wicks and this little support here. All of this is like liquidity right here for waiting for market to be grabbed up. Because you know there's people getting in buys here, and buys here, and buys here, and buys here. And then there's people definitely in buys here, thinking that this support will go. And it might actually hold. You never know. Sometimes the retail traders do it. And I mean, I'm a fucking retail trader too. We're all retail traders. So unless you're trading a fucking hedge fund, but you also have to know where the smart money and all of that shit is at, right? You have to know that there's people having stop losses right here. Like I have put it on right now. So you have to also know that price is very vulnerable to come and stop these people out. And once they're thinking that it is gonna sell, and they get in their sells, no. All price had to do was come and stop you out. And now if you do get in the sell here, now it's gonna stop you out again. When you were right the first time, all you had to do was wait. That used to happen to me a lot. That's when I was only trading based off support and resistance. You have to trade off supply and demand. And I was also not doing my top down analysis. And I was also not doing my weekly markups every day. And I was also not working out every day. And I was also not reading every day. And I was also not disciplined every day. You see, and I was also blowing an account every single week. Literally, I have only blown one account this year, and it was because of a mistake. I think I even showed you guys on this video, on a video why. That because I needed to pop a 0.15, and instead I popped the 15 lots, which is insane. Whatever, back to the point, back to this weekly chart. So I definitely would wait for price to break below the support, clear the buyers, and come test 142 before a trade, definitely. And if buys continue currently, then that's fine, because now we will have a trade here. We will either have sells, then actually back again to 142.800, or we will have buys. This is why I love trading, because you're either right or you're wrong. You're either hot or cold. You're either blue or you're red. You're either green. What's the opposite of green? I have no idea. You're either black or you're white, right? Because as soon as prices test this zone, all we have to do is just wait. It's either gonna test, reject, and sell to the downside, or it's gonna break above, bullish engulf at higher low, create a higher low, and go back to the upside. It's either or the or. Price cannot do anything. Obviously, it could range. It could do something like this. But if it does range, even better. Why? Because if it ranges, usually what happens is price ranges, clears all of the range, and then it comes even heavier to the upside, or vice versa. It creates the range, the same thing, creates the range, and you guys will see this on the market. Creates the range, clears it, and continues to the downside. You usually see this shit in Asian session. Asian session usually does this bullshit. They call it, I guess, the Asian session range, or the Asian session consolidation. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about that. But that actually happens in Asian session, and it just happens to be that we're also in Asian session right now. It's crazy. So all of this consolidation, liquidity, we could clear it out and then continue to the buys. Maybe for London session, but I'd rather just wait. Plus, this is USD CAD. This is a freaking New York session pair that you trade. Now let's go into GPUSD. Last but not least, GPUSD looking good on the monthly. GPUSD. Actually, I love that. I'm not even gonna have to edit this video at all, because I didn't record the workout or nothing. GPUSD monthly bullish. Or you can pause it and read it. You pause it and read it. Monthly we're bullish. Why? Because price tested this previous area of demand at 121 and instantly respected it. Right? We were bearish before, honestly, because this is on the monthly. Remember, this is on the monthly, and price created a strong bearish engulfing candles, right? But now look at this. Now we broke back above 127,500, and we're currently testing 130,100. So now let's hop into the weekly. Monthly we're bullish. Yeah, monthly we are bullish. Weekly we're bullish as well. Plus, look at this previous weekly bullish engulfing candle above. Like I said, strong area of demand. Price breaks below, bearish engulfing candle. Comes and tests the previous strong area of demand and tests it again as new supply, creating a strong push to the downside that gave us, damn, 600 pips, bro. And the buys gave us, well, actually the buys, because we don't really have a lot of Well, you actually do. You have a little bit. I was gonna say we don't have a lot of history to the previous side, so sometimes you just form the new demands, right? But I mean, you could call this a mini supply. Over here, turn into a strong ass demand. But this is what you want to see. You want to see strong demands, because you know that when price gets to the zone, it's either gonna give us a strong demand again, or it's gonna break below like it did here. It's gonna give us a strong supply. That's all supply and demand is. See, the supply is the strong area where price sold, and demand is the strong area where buyers bought or traders bought. So on the daily, on the weekly, we can see that we're testing this area right here, which is 130-100. You can see previous area of supply, previous area of demand, previous area of supply. This could actually turn to supply again, something like this. But we're overall bullish still, so why would you sell when we're bullish, right? Especially after this huge bullish engulfing candle. Let's go into the daily. I mean, look at this. We had broken this, and we had created a bearish engulfing candle. But what is price doing? It's retracing. I think on the daily, daily it was bullish turning bearish. It was literally bullish turning bearish before the market opened. Today, so this is on today right here. Look, this is a 4-hour Friday. Yep, it's just this candle. Yeah, literally the market just opened a couple hours ago. Possible retest into this area. Maybe give us a continuation on the shorts. But if price doesn't reject here and continue downside to the downside, I definitely see price continue to the upside. But then again, I would still like it for price to break, for buys at least, to break above 130-100. Give us a nice little bullish engulfing candle and continue to the upside to test at least. The first target would be 1.34, which is obviously a strong area of supply in itself. Literally, this is a big push, because literally higher time frame wise, this push gave us 1,080 pips, right? 1,200 pips, which is this is a lot, bro. You could have made a bag. This could have been, depending on your, on a 0.010, that's, what is that? 100 pips on a 0.010 is $100. So this would have been 1,270. So on the smallest thing that you could trade on a 0.01, no 0.01 would have been $120, which is crazy. Obviously, even you take it up more. The next step would be a 0.10, which would be $1,200. You take it up to one lot, this would have been at $10,200. You take it up to 10 lots, I think this would have been 100K. Holy shit. You take it up to 1,000 lots, that's 1.2 mil. Holy shit. See the power of trading? The skill remains the same. It's only the account that grows in the percentage. Peace and love to anybody watching this. I command you health, wealth for you and your entire family. Back to work.